Well, in case we are going, I'm Johnny Pepper.
And I'm Scarlett O'Hurt. Yeah, thanks for joining us here at Big O. First day of competition, and this is our first game to call.
Our second day in Oregon.
Yes.
We got in yesterday.
We did, accidentally on the same flight, and the same flight as the Houston men's team. So I know that they're anxious to get out here. Why don't we run down some rosters real quick, Johnny? Do you want to start with Houston?
Sure. The Houston goes with 0, the Big O, 135, Sniper, 311, JJ Battles, number 42, Sweet Feet, number 440, Waya, number 464, Grease Monkey, number 501, Sergeant Psycho, number 55, Astro Stash, number 665, Impending Doom, 69, Star, and 713, Skidmark.
And wearing the white jerseys, for those of you watching on video, we have the Dakota Men's Roller Derby Norsemen. And we've got number 0, Johnson. And I will go over the rest of them in a bit, but the action is underway. Johnny, what did we miss?
That's Evan Rude for the Norsemen. He's up front. He's your lead jammer. For Houston, we got Sweet Feet. He is out of the pack and eligible to score, but that jam gets called. So back to the rosters with Scarlett O'Hurt.
Perfect timing there. So wearing the white, Dakota Men's Roller Derby, we have number 0, Johnson, number 15, Keefe, 16, Kintz, number 17, Sarcasm, number 421, Liberal, number 5, Han, number 7, Evan Rude, number 79, Colonel Angus, number 85, 20 Babies, and number 9, Budwig. Who's out there jamming now, Johnny?
Keefe's wearing the star for the Norsemen, and that's JJ Battles jamming for Houston.
JJ, one of those skaters that has incredibly fast footwork. His upper body can sometimes get a little bit behind his feet, and that's where he gets tangled up and blockers tend to catch him, but that's not the case right now.
He is showing off that impressive footwork as he gets through first. Meanwhile, Keefe is out of the pack and eligible to score, and JJ knows that, so he calls it off.
Very strong defensive game here by both. It looks like Houston's going to put 2 on the board. We are currently having a 1 point. I just used that in the wrong. Yeah, I'm tired. Sorry. 3-2 Norsemen in the lead. 28 minutes left in the first half.
It's still early. Nobody's dominating yet.
No, not at all. And for those of you just joining us, you are watching the Houston Men's Roller Derby take on the Dakota Men's Roller Derby. I am Scarlett O'Hurt.
I'm Johnny Pepper.
And out on the jam line, we have for Houston in the black, Grease Monkey.
And for the Norsemen, that's 20 Babies. The Norsemen, of course, playing for Soccer Blue, a player that 2 years ago passed away with stomach cancer. So they're playing with a heavy heart today and wearing number 24 in their logo for him.
That's a really cool tribute.
You learn something when you talk to him every once in a while.
You do, actually. And I just learned something from our ref out there that North Dakota has lead with 20 Babies. Grease Monkey creeping up on that pack, so 20 calls it off. He grabs a very medal 2 points. And we are now at 5-2, 27 minutes left in the first half.
We do want to thank you for joining us on WFTDA.TV. Make sure that you tell all your friends to tune in as well. Make sure they all buy the weekend pass.
So much derby this weekend. 3 tracks all day long for 3 days.
I've got 2 tracks in my head right now. Sweet Feet wearing the star for Houston. That is Evan Rude jamming for the Norsemen.
And Sweet Feet juts out in front, takes the slide to lane 4, and his feet go out of bounds, but he manages to pull him back in without causing any harm, and he gets lead jammer status. We now have full complement of blockers for both teams out on the track, both jammers on their scoring pass.
Evan Rude.
Beautiful spin move there by Sweet Feet right at the apex.
He knew Evan Rude was fixing to come back on that pack and get some points, and he called it off before that could happen.
Now, one thing that warrants noting is that Houston's playing with a few female skaters, whereas the Norsemen are all men. So I'm curious to see how that impacts their strategy, how that impacts their style of play. But I know these two jammers don't seem to be fazed by that at all. We've got JJ Battles jamming for Houston.
And Keefe wearing the star for the Norsemen.
Keefe's getting trapped behind a wall of black jerseys, boxed in as JJ juts through and is your lead jammer now on a scoring pass.
JJ battles, of course, with those fluorescent orange skates. Gets called for a back block. He's going to go to the penalty box and think about not doing that anymore.
Penalty being served, and that means we have a grand slam now for Keefe as he makes his first scoring pass, bringing the score up 10-6. 25 minutes left in the first half. Big O anchoring that tripod up in the front with two of the female Houston players.
They are doing their best to keep that wall intact with the Big O up there.
Looks like we have a back blocking penalty called on Keefe. So, and it looks like JJ actually served his full penalty, so Keefe's going to do much the same. And they got called on the same penalty back to back, so that was interesting.
Well, let's hope JJ can get out there and score as many points as Keefe did before he went to the box. We are seeing some hard hitting over here in turn 4.
It's like they're just ping-ponging off of him. He doesn't seem fazed by the defensive players that are significantly larger than him coming at him.
The Norsemen have a wall of 3 up front.
Beautiful footwork there again by JJ. Hops over Thudwig in the straightaway to grab some points.
He got those hips low and sprung right across that wall.
Ooh. Five points on that pass for Keefe. And we have a Houston blocker heading to the penalty box, and we have a pile up at turn 1. Jam is called. 3 points for Houston, 0 for the Norsemen on that pass. However, Norsemen come out on top of that jam. Not by much though, Johnny. 10-8, 15-14. We have a 1-point game. 23 minutes left and some change.
Already getting exciting here at the Big O.
You gotta wonder, are these just warm-up games? You know, they're still getting their feet underneath them.
No, this is for real.
No, I know it's for real, but you know, sometimes it takes a bit to shake off the rust.
20 babies wearing the star for the Norseman. Jumps out quick. He is your lead gem.
Grease Monkey getting shoved out of bounds in that straightaway by a tripod of Norsemen. And 20 babies just got taken out by his own blocker, Libra. But it doesn't seem to faze him. He comes out of that pack with a grand slam. Grease Monkey with a star stash to get through that pack. He is now on a scoring pass, but 20 babies is a full pass ahead of him. Star goes in for a block, a swing and a miss, and then it looks like we had some legs tangled up on the inside. No penalties are assessed, though.
24-14 in that jam. 22 minutes left in this game.
Oh, in the half.
In this half.
We're just getting started.
All right. Well, while I'm not being able to talk, I'll talk about Hit This. Hit This Derby Gear has everything you need to get rolling, from skates to protective gear and unmatched service for all your derby needs.
Out on the jam lane, we got Keefe wearing the white for the Norsemen from Dakota, and Sweet Feet. I don't know how I could mix them up. JJ has those bright orange skates, and Sweet Feet has very fast feet.
And he did use those Sweet Feet to jump up on the outside, get on those toe stops, and get out front.
He is your lead jammer, currently hitting the pack on a first scoring pass, followed not far behind by Keefe. Pack getting very spread out, and Sweet Feet gets taken down in the air as he was trying to jump the apex. That jammer takeout by Johnson, and we are evenly matched on that last jam. 4 points all.
28-18, 21 minutes left in this first half. JJ Battles is going to wear the star for Houston. That's Evan Rude's going to be jamming for the Norsemen from Dakota.
A little bit of confusion, and Grease Monkey coming right back out onto the track. So we have a full complement of blockers for both teams.
We got 80 wheels out there.
That's a lot of wheels. And we've got this set of 8 wheels is your lead jammer. That's Evan Rude. But not far behind, JJ Battles with the quickness. But right as he hits that pack, Evan sees him, calls it off, grabs his 4 points, and ends it
I want to talk about the social media team. They're working feverishly all weekend to bring you live tweets and Facebook coverage throughout the event. So if you want to talk to us, use the hashtag #TalkToWFTDA.
Yeah.
We'd be glad to read it and maybe even respond while we're on air.
Out on the jam line, Sweet Feet jamming once again for Houston.
20
And
babies for the Norsemen.
Norsemen jammer 20 babies getting shoved out of bounds by Grease Monkey right at the pivot line. And Sweet Feet gets through for lead jammer status. Meanwhile, Dakota's pivot Johnson being sent to the penalty box.
4-3 pack advantage for Houston at the moment.
And as soon as you said that, Houston sends 2 of their blockers to the penalty box, although it looks like one of them is being told to return to play. So now they're evenly matched, 3-all on the blocker count. And
so
on the points, Houston came out on top, though. 4 points for Houston, 0 for the Norsemen. 32-22, 10-point game, less than 20 minutes left in the first half.
And you know anything can happen in a jam and roller derby.
You know, we're heading into jam number 10. We've literally had about a jam a minute since we started. These have been super short, get to the point, not going to risk any of the hemorrhaging. Very conservative play, I would say. Not taking any big risks right now.
And that should make for a real close game. And that's good for all the Derby fans out there.
And JJ Battles now jamming for Houston, going up against Keefe. I was going to say Kiefer, and I was like, that's not right. That's not right. It's Keefe. Johnson out of the penalty box and now on his way back to that pack. JJ Battles now on a scoring pass. Keefe gets shoved to the inside by Grease Monkey and a forced pullback there by Big O. I've been waiting to say we're seeing the Big O playing at Big O.
The Big O. So good he had a tournament named after him. He told me this morning that the tournament was around before he was conceived, though. So Derby conceived.
Oh, okay. Before the Derby name came about.
Before the Derby name.
Gotcha.
Sweet Feet wearing the star for Houston. That's Evan Rude jamming for the Norsemen.
We've got an anchored tripod up in front for Houston. 4-3 pack advantage for the Norsemen. And they send an offensive person to go break up that tripod. And both jammers, we are off to the races. And I mean that quite literally. They are neck and neck. It's like a horse race photo finish. Who's going to head into that pack first? Looks like Sweet Feet comes out on top and calls it right as he gets shoved to the inside. He grabs 2 points. Dakota grabs 1.
Sweet Feet did some dancing all the way back to the Houston bench.
I'm trying to think of what you would call that. It wasn't quite a jig, but
it was toe stop dancing.
It was. We had lots of high legs going on. Well, there's style there. I'll give them style points. So 35-24, less than 18 minutes left in the first half. We're heading into jam number 12 with JJ Battles and 20 babies.
20 babies getting knocked to the inside. Forced to recycle, goes to the back, tries to go around to the outside.
And JJ followed the exact same pathway, but the Norseman saw him, trapped him. And we have a very scrummy pack right now, very mixed up. But so that's something that JJ's doing that is really making a difference for him, is that he keeps pushing. And this time he pushed a little too much, and he's heading to the box.
20 babies out there on a power jam for the Norsemen. As 20 babies comes around on a scoring pass, Houston tries to reset that defense. Can't quite get it together as 20 babies goes around on the outside and picks up another 5.
Nice little hop there in the straightaway to get past those opposing blockers. His team parting the seas for him, so to speak, as we have an anchored 3-wall in the straightaway right after turn 2. Houston regroups into a tripod. Nice assist blocked there. Grease Monkey, the initiator, but had some help from a teammate whose number I can't see right now.
I think that's Impending Doom.
And 20 babies looks worn out. He just called it off and laid down on the track. 9 points, but those were some hard-fought points.
Those were some hard-fought points as the Norsemen take a 20-point lead with 16 minutes left in this first half. Sarcasm is going to wear the star for the Norsemen. Sweet Feet going to be jamming for Houston.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the first time we've seen Sarcasm jam
Yeah, because I've
today.
been waiting to say that name.
Sarcasm.
He is the czar of chasms.
Okay, so both teams taking similar defensive strategies, although Norsemen choosing a box formation, whereas Houston is doing a traditional tripod. And it seems that the box wins, but Houston couldn't do the box. They're down one blocker. So Sarcasm is now your lead jammer for Dakota.
Sweet Feet still working at that back of the Norseman pack, trying to get through.
And he does, just barely on the inside. And look, both pivots racing to the penalty box. So I hope the jammers are prepared.
They were prepared to call it off.
Yeah, Sarcasm saw that.
48-24, 15 minutes left in this first half.
I feel like the point spread between these two teams has gotten doubly big within the last, I want to say, 3 to 4 jams. So things happening very quickly here. We are heading into jam number 13, and we've got 15 minutes left here in the first half. So we are having very quick, very short, very defensively heavy jams. Both pivots in the penalty box, 3 all in the pack. We've got JJ Battles jamming for Houston and Evan Ryan jamming for the Norsemen. Evan Rude, excuse me. I don't know why I said Ryan.
Evan Rude is out front and your lead jam for the Norsemen.
Big O, nice hip check to the inside, holding back Evan. JJ still trying to make it through on that initial pass.
Norsemen playing some persnickety defense up front.
That's Khan and Thudwig that are anchoring that defense in the back, holding back JJ Battles for about 30 seconds there.
And that jam gets called.
4 points for the Norsemen. Go back up on the board. Total of 9 on that jam. 57-24. 14 minutes left in the first half. I am Scarlett O'Hurtia.
I'm Johnny Pepper, and we're calling this game between the Norsemen of Dakota and the Houston Roller Derby men's team. Houston Roller Derby men's team is a quite new team. First year in the MRDA.
Out on the jam line now, we've got Keefe going up against Sweet Feet. Sweet Feet at a considerable size disadvantage compared to the Norsemen. And he tries to use the fast footwork to get around him, but he cuts the track and it gets sent to the penalty box. So Keefe, opportunity here, but oh, look at that follow through by that Houston defense in turn 1. Looks like Keefe's not feeling so great after that hit.
He does get up and recycle and goes back into the action.
Now, he took 3 shoulder hits pretty much in the exact same spot, one right after the other. And then look at this recycling we're seeing up in the front by Houston.
They are trying to regroup as we speak, but Keefe comes up on that wall and decides to go ahead and call it off. He might need to go see that massage therapist over there in Vendor Village that we have today as soon as this game is over.
0 points for either team on that jam, and it went a little bit longer than some of them that we've seen.
That was the longest jam all day. 57-24, 12 and a half minutes left in this first half.
Looks like Houston wants to go out, and we've got a team timeout called by Dakota. So who is this timeout brought to us by, Johnny?
It's brought to you by the Big O and social media. Send pictures in your pets enjoying the Big O from home. Big O cats and Big O dogs. We love to see our furry fans. Remember to use the hashtag #TalkToWFTDA.
I'm going to go check right now, actually, and see who's talking to us.
I bet we got pictures of dogs and cats.
I support this. I support the
I like
WFTDA
both
pets.
dogs and cats.
I'm allergic to cats, but I really like dogs.
Well, you know, you can have an outside cat. Some cats are cool outside.
Okay.
They can climb trees and all kinds of things.
Where is our conversation going, Johnny Pepper?
Tree climbing cats. That's what we're talking about.
Well, I think we've got a few people that are climbing the walls here because it seems like the momentum shifted very quickly here in the first half of the first half. We were really quite tied up in the first, I want to say 10 jams, and then that one big double-digit jam by the Norsemen really made a difference, and now we are looking at 57-24, Dakota in the lead. Less than 12 and a half minutes left in the first half.
Houston's going to have to play better defense and score more points if they want to get back in this game. JJ Battle's going to wear the star for Houston.
Oh, my goodness. So Kintz just got back out onto the track and took out one of his own players as his toe stop seemed to come out from underneath him. And we've got two similar defensive formations. JJ Battles being held back on the straightaway, finds some daylight and gets through. JJ Battles is your lead jammer for Houston.
Meanwhile, Keefe's back there working against that pack. Now that's 20 babies working against that pack. He does get out and now eligible to score.
Oh, another fall in the straightaway. And a spin move on the inside after a hit from Grease Monkey. That's like the third blocker I've seen spin jammer, after Grease Monkey hits them. Is he doing something with the rotation?
I believe he's just hitting them really, really hard.
Hit you so hard, make you spin.
2 points for Houston on that jam, 57-26. 11 and a half minutes left in this first half. Grease Monkey's going to wear the star for Houston.
And it looks like your favorite name.
Sarcasm. Going to be jamming for the Norsemen. Sarcasm goes to the outside, quickly moves through that pack. He is your lead jammer.
Star taking a stumble at turn 1. Kint's doing much the same. And Houston trying to anchor a very solid defensive formation in the back of the pack. We have an attempted apex jump there by Sarcasm, but doesn't stick the landing and decides to call it off.
He saw Grease Monkey coming up on the pack, and they're not going to let anything like that happen. They're going to go ahead and call every jam before.
Yeah, get your points and get out of there. Just do what you came to do. Don't get fancy with it. Don't try and show off. Just get your points and get out.
Get the lead and don't let go.
Yeah. So 0 points for either team on that last jam. And now we've got Evan Rude in the white for the Dakota Men's Roller Derby Norsemen and JJ Battles. I'm sorry, Sweet Feet. Why do I keep saying that? Sweet Feet in the black jersey for Houston.
Sweet Feet working against that wall of white in the back of the pack at the moment.
And it looks like Dakota comes out on top of that one. They're going to be your lead jammer once again. Evan Rude hitting that pack, ducks around the outside, 0 opposition, did not get touched by an opposing player. Houston just gave away 5 points.
Yes, they did. They're going to have to start playing better defense if they're going to stay in this game.
Now currently 4-3 pack advantage for Houston as Keefe is in the penalty box. And here we go again. Evan Rude breaking through, grabbing those points and calling it off. That's 4 for the Norsemen, shutting out Houston. They're in jam number 18. 40 points now separating these two teams. This was not the conversation we were having a few minutes ago, Johnny.
No, we were hoping for a real close game, and the Norsemen decided to just open it up. 66-26, 9.5 minutes left in this first half. Sarcasm going to wear the star for the Norsemen. JJ Battles wearing the star for Houston.
Sarcasm, very low stance right off the jam line, whereas JJ starting relatively upright. Sniper takes a spill, presumably from a sniper. And Sarcasm sent out of bounds by Big O, and a follow-up by Grease Monkey out of play declared. Sarcasm comes back in, and JJ Battles is your lead jammer. Oh, nice hit again by Grease Monkey, taking out Sarcasm on the inside. And JJ breaks through for 5 points. Maybe this is where that pendulum swings the other way, Johnny.
Well, Grease Monkey got called for a penalty on that hit. He's going to go to the penalty box. Meanwhile, Sweet Feet trying to get through that pack once again.
JJ Battles, now it's your turn. Your turn to mix them up.
I was trying to help you out. Let's just mix them up all day.
They have similar styles, and it looks like JJ came out with 3 on that last pass, so total of 8 for Houston. They shut out the Norsemen. Score is 66-34, 8 minutes left in the game. And what I was saying, one of the reasons that we're flip-flopping Sweet Feet and JJ, when they're in the pack and they're smooshed up against everybody else, they have very similar techniques. But one thing I've noticed with Sweet Feet is he tends to bring his feet up higher. They both have really good fast footwork, but Sweet Feet will take bigger leaps like we're seeing right now. JJ just moves his feet really quickly, and he's that relentless, I don't stop pushing.
Sweet Feet with the orange wheels. JJ Battle with the orange boots.
Yes. And it looks like Johnson heading to the penalty box, joining his teammate, and Grease Monkey coming out of the box. But it looks like Sweet Feet going to head to the penalty box for a cutting the track penalty. So your lead jammer now on a power jam that is 20 babies for the Norsemen.
I believe that's the second cut on Sweet Feet. I'm not real sure about that. We'll have our crack producer check that out for us.
5 points on that pass for 20 babies. And we have a very quiet pack as he approaches from the apex after turn 1.
But then they start up again.
Houston, beautiful rotation there right between lane 2 and lane 3. So that's Sergeant Psycho and tag teaming with Grease Monkey and Impending Doom. Oh, being the eyes of that pack right there with the reverse. Both jammers trying to take the exact same spot to get through that pack, but Sweet Feet comes out on top, but that is his initial pass. And
Keefe fell down through there and opened up a hole,
Yeah.
and that was exploited.
That's what you have to do when you're a jammer. You take the smallest opening you can find.
Your head's got to be on a swivel, and you got to take every opportunity that presents itself.
Looks like we have a timeout called by Houston.
This timeout's brought to you by the WFTDA. The 2018 WFTDA Continental Cups will provide the best in region through a competitive bracket. This first year, the Continental Cup Series will be hosted in Kalamazoo, Michigan, Omaha, Nebraska, and Birmingham in the United Kingdom. For more information, go to WFTDA.com.
Yeah, WFTDA trying a different structure this year for the playoffs. I'm really curious to see how that shakes out. I'm excited to see series in Europe, excited to see some really good derby across the globe this year, really going worldwide. And this is not one of our recommended spots, but I'm going to give a plug for UN Women and the We Believe movement that WFTDA has going on. I don't know if they're still offering the shirts, but I have a really cool shirt that says Roller Derby Can Change the World that I got from...
I think I got it on my lanyard, too, from Dallas last year.
Yes, that was also...
We do believe that roller derby can change the world. 76-34, 6 minutes and 10 seconds left in this first half. JJ Battles with the orange boots is going to wear the star for Houston. Evan Rude for the Norsemen.
And I'm looking at Twitter to see if anybody is talking to us. Who's watching Derby while they're at work?
Mom's watching Derby.
Evan Rude, fast footwork going quickly from lane 1 to lane 4. And JJ with, JJ with a very different strategy this go round. He was being very patient and looking for a hole to open up. But Evan Rude made his own way, and he is now your lead jammer for the Norsemen.
Both jammers come into that pack on turn 1 and find problems. But then the Norseman jammer comes out and puts 5 in the sky. We have JJ Battles going to the penalty box on a forearm. And that's going to be a power jam for Evan Rube, who puts another 5 points on the board, 10 points in this jam already.
And this is where we see the score run away.
And we still have a minute left. And Houston Star is sitting over there in the penalty box. Evan Rude on this power jam, trying to get as many points as he can.
Nice follow-up hit there. Grease Monkey basically using his teammate Skidmark as a wrecking ball, throwing him into Evan Rude. Looks like Evan comes away with 3 points on that last jam. On that pass, excuse me. Total of 13. Score is 89-34, less than 5 minutes left, and we have an official review out on the track, and I am fighting the urge to run out there and see what that's all about. Because we can't do that.
No, we can't.
Our mics have cords.
But we can talk about Hit This. Hit This Derby gear has everything you need to get rolling, from skates to protective gear and unmatched service for all your derby needs. Before you hit the track, hit this. Also want to say thank you to all our volunteers and our host league for being such wonderful hosts.
Got a lot of powwowing going on in the middle of the track. And lovely volunteers trying to make sure that the lines are still safe around the edge of the court. Looks like the Norsemen are all ready to go out in the center. Grease Monkey is the one Houston blocker out on the track who's ready for another round. I feel like I've said his name a lot today.
Well, you usually do when you call a Houston men's game. Big O and Busted Beaver out there on the middle of the track with Colonel Angus, the captain of the Norsemen.
And that was an official review called by Houston. And this is the part where we get to make up really silly things if we want to about what the official review is about.
I think it's going to be over there on track 2. The pack was getting too spread out, and they wanted to pull it back together. And the no call might stand.
Well, you got to keep in mind, I mean, I think they're legitimately using it for something they think they were wronged by. However, you can't always burn those, a 60-second timeout. But we're now into minute number 2. This is the longest single event we've had during this game so far.
Sure enough, it's been quick pace up until this point. And we want to thank Houston for calling that official review and giving us a minute to talk to you fans. Tuned in to WFTDA.TV. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
For those of you that are, we're going to find out what that official review is about. Our in-house announcers are making it up as we go as well. Something rules. I vote that it was a discussion about who had the raddest socks. And I think that honor goes to Liberal, whose socks say bacon.
Absolutely, because everybody loves bacon. Sweet Feet wearing the star for Houston. Sarcasm jamming for the Norsemen.
Looks like we've got an even matchup in terms of blockers, and Sarcasm manages to grab lead jammer status. Oh no, gets called for cutting the track, so that's going to mean Sweet Feet grabbing lead jammer status for Houston. Pack very spread out right at turn 1.
Sweet Feet coming hard into that pack over there in turn 2.
Oh, beautiful footwork in there. So there we see that difference between Sweet Feet and JJ Battles, where he's basically chassing or taking these giant strides through that pack. The problem with that, though, is you can't be as accurate and feel the track as long whenever you're doing those very quick, big, broad strides. And he just got a cutting the track penalty for just that.
That's going to release the Norseman jammer Sarcasm. Sweet Feet's only going to have to serve the same amount of time that he served.
Which, in the continuing theme of this game so far, is not a lot of time. And we've got a pile up at turn 3. Impending Doom stumbles right alongside Han, and then Sarcasm gets tripped up in that game of leapfrog.
Impending Doom called for a low block on that hit. Goes to the penalty box. Meanwhile, Sarcasm comes around, hits Grease Monkey, gets knocked to the outside.
5 points, and that was good eyes by the refs in being very sure on what they were calling, and good track awareness there by Sarcasm.
He knew that wasn't no fault of his own.
4 points on that pass for Sweet Feet, and we've got all kinds of people yelling on the track. Nobody can call it off. They're trying to, because that's been their strategy the whole game. Johnny, this is the first 2-minute jam we've had. Grand slam on that pass for Sweet Feet. Only 2 points on that pass for Sarcasm.
I'll almost bet you that's only going to be the only 2-minute jam of this half. 96-43 with 2:47 left in this first half.
And this may be Houston's highest scoring jam thus far. 11 points for the team in black, and the Norsemen come away with 7. And I'm curious, it's not often you see the ref discount the points if they make a full pass, and only awarding 2 on that last scoring pass for Sarcasm. Now, this is a matchup we haven't seen in a minute. We thought that perhaps Keefe was nursing a hurt shoulder, but he's back out on the track jamming for the Norsemen. JJ Battles jamming for Houston.
Keefe got 2 to beat up front. Does
JJ with the hip check on the opposing blocker to plow his way through that pack, and he is your lead jammer. Keefe back to the penalty box. Ooh, an awkward fall
with a
on
black
the way
block.
to the box. Star joining him on the Houston side. JJ gets called for a forearm penalty. So, oh, hey, you said the only 2-minute jam, and we were wrong.
Because this jam, we got 2 of them.
Back to back, no less.
Well, they had to play almost the whole first half before they figured out how to play a 2-minute jam. Norsemen knocking on that 100 door as Keefe flies through the pack once again.
Oh, hard fall there. That Sniper sliding all over the place in the straightaway, and now both jammers back into the fray. Keefe trying to slide through on lane 4, but that Houston defense shoving him to the outside. JJ finding some daylight. Oh, I think on that was on lane 2. I think he had a little bit of an offensive assist there by Big O. 4 points.
With 4 points on that pass.
Oh.
JJ almost putting Houston on the 50 mark.
We've got a low block penalty assessed to number 9, Thudwig, who's been an anchor of the Norsemen defense so far here in the first half.
He has been wrecking shop almost all day.
Keefe, 4 points on that last scoring pass. JJ Battles trying to make his way through that pack. Big O trying to hold back Keefe, but Keefe manages to get around him with a spin move. And we have cracked the century mark, or as my good friend Honest Dave would say, cracked a ton. 109 to 53, 13 points on that last jam for the Norsemen, 8 for Houston. And I do think, oh, nope, somebody's calling a timeout. So with 2 seconds left on the period clock, they said, let's go again.
Let's just have one more jam.
Just one more. Just one more. Let's see how many jams we can get into one half. Right now we just had jam number 23. We're about to go into jam number 24.
Ooh.
But for now, we have a lovely timeout. Johnny, who is this timeout brought to us by?
Timeout brought to you by Hit This. Derby Gear has everything you need to get rolling, from skates to protective gear and unmatched service for all your derby needs. Before you hit the track, Hit This. Derby owned and operated.
That's a great name for a derby equipment company.
Absolutely. And if you're anywhere close within the sound of my voice and you can get here to beautiful Eugene, Oregon, I highly recommend getting on by here. This is only day 1 of a 3-day tournament. You want to come on out here and see the Big O for yourself. Who do we got on the line, Scarlett?
Looks like we've got Sweet Feet and Evan Rude. And we are having some discussion right now between the officials about the time on the clock matching up with the timekeeper in the center of the track. So that team timeout has turned into, well, right now it just says it's an extended timeout, but if the officials have taken over.
As well they should.
Somebody's got to be in control of this chaos.
Because I would say it's halftime. But we're going to have one more jam for you good people out there in TV land on WFTDA.TV. Evan Rude wearing the star for the Norsemen. Sweet Feet going to be jamming for Houston.
In that penalty box, man, I think they're giving out cookies because it's lunchtime. And we've got Houston with a 3-2 pack advantage. And I'm noticing the blockers that Houston has chosen to put out on the track are significantly shorter than the Norsemen blockers. But the timekeeper calls halftime. I think she heard you and said,
the Norsemen are looking like Norsemen.
Yes. Aptly named, indeed. So with that being said, looks like on that last jam, 14 points for the Norsemen, 8 for Houston. Score is currently 110 to 53. We got 23 jams out of the first half of this game here. You are listening to Big O live from Eugene, Oregon. I'm Scarlett O'Hurta.
I'm Johnny Pepper, and we'll see y'all real soon. I'm Johnny Pepper, along with Scarlett O'Hurta.
Hello.
We're going to be calling the second half of this game between the Dakota Norsemen and the Houston Roller Derby men's team. In this game that was close for the first half of the first half.
first quarter of the game, we'll say.
Yes, and in the second half of the first half, the Norsemen just poured it on, opened up a can of that stuff, and went ahead and took the lead, 110 to 53.
And it happened very quickly. It was just a couple of double-digit jams back to back to back that really cemented it there. However, we're starting to see people play a little differently. I think people a lot more in the penalty box. We're seeing a lot more falls, kind of not small falls either, which makes me a little nervous out on the track. So I don't know if it's a fatigue thing, if emotions are coming into the picture, or what's going on. But they're playing quite differently here at the end of the first half than they were toward the beginning.
Absolutely. The first 10 jams were probably 5-point jams. And then the Norsemen started getting those 10-point jams and those 15-point jams and those 18-point jams as they slowly but methodically took that lead and built it up over the half. We want to take this opportunity to thank our host league, the Emerald City Roller Derby, for being such gracious hosts here at the Big O, as they are every year. Also want to thank the WFTDA for providing the stream services that you may or may not be watching us on. We hope that you are.
And if you're not, and this is just for posterity's sake, Big O has a great technical team. They are working their tails off trying to get everything up and running.
I'm sure you're listening to me right now and saying, yep, they've got it done. So we do want to thank you for tuning in to WFTDA.tv. I'm Johnny Pepper along with Scarlett O'Hurcha.
Hello.
And we're going to be getting to the action momentarily back on the track. The skaters are being called to the floor.
We got some more people in the crowd that are deciding to sit trackside. First time during this game I've seen that.
Well, you know, it still is early on Friday.
It is.
Some people still have to work.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the school out back. They still got kids in school.
True. That would explain why we don't have any juniors games early today. Duh.
JJ Battles is going to be wearing the star for Houston. That's Evan Rude jamming for the Norsemen from Dakota. Houston's going to be down a blocker, which is the pivot in the penalty box.
Is that impending doom I see?
It is impending doom. Her penalty almost served before halftime went into halftime. The Norsemen have 2 blockers in the box. All the skaters on the track are practicing their parade wave.
So if there was a Miss Congeniality or Mr. Congeniality in this instance, who do you think it would be so far, Johnny?
Colonel Angus. I mean, he's out there.
I'm curious to know where 20 Babies came from. That name.
Because he has 20 babies?
Oh, I hope he looks awfully young.
We're going to have to find that out and get back to you, good people, and we will endeavor to do that. Meanwhile, back on the track, JJ Battles wearing the star for Houston. Evan Rude jamming for the Norsemen. Evan Rude with 1 to beat, but it's Big O, and Big O knocks him out of bounds. We've got a multiplayer block called on Han.
JJ Battles is your lead jammer for Houston. And nice eagle to the inside of the track for Evan. And he gets through on his initial pass, but JJ grabs, looks like 4 points before calling it off, holding the Norsemen scoreless.
And that's what Houston's going to have to do to get back into it, is pick up the lead jammer status, get their points, and call it off. They only got to do that about 10 more times, and they'll be back right in it.
Oh, is that all?
That's it.
That's all. No big deal, right?
At least they have a plan.
This is true, yes.
Keefe's going to be wearing the star for the Norsemen.
It looks like we have Sweet Feet jamming for Houston.
Sweet Feet up on his toe stops, trying to get around that wall of white up front, which is a formidable wall. Anchored by Johnson. The Norseman in the back now trying to keep him at bay, but he finds a hole on the outside, exploits it. He is your lead jammer. Sweet Feet coming up on the back of that pack.
Oh, that was a very solid tripod, but look at him taking advantage of the chaos whenever they go flying. Grabs a grand slam. He's shaking his head like, nope, I haven't had enough yet.
Sweet Feet using that Sweet Feet work. One more time, goes on the outside and puts another 5 in the sky. Meanwhile, Houston's defense playing a great job over there.
And they're at a disadvantage right now. 4-3 pack advantage, and it looks like he cut the, forearm penalty on that one. So we had an apex jump attempt. It was more like a hop, and I think he hit one of the opposing blockers as he tried to go airborne.
And that's going to leave Keefe out there in a power jam for the last 42 seconds in this jam.
Keefe does not look like he has the gas in him right now to really do the power jam. With every single hit, he is having to fight harder and harder. So he's been thrown around like a pinball for 1.5 minutes already. And now you're going to tell him he's got a power jam? And he doesn't have enough blockers out there to provide him any offensive assistance. We have a 4-2 pack right now. Houston has a full complement of blockers, whereas the Norsemen only have 2. Both jammers back into the fray, and in true Sweet Feet fashion, he comes bounding out of the box.
I don't think any of the Norsemen knew where he was when he come out of the box.
Well, now he's just showing off.
15 points on that jam for Houston, 114-72. 26 minutes left in this game.
That is definitely the highest scoring jam so far for Houston in this game. So if they, few more. This is,
back in it.
This has been a pretty exciting game. Oh, it looks like the ref is checking someone out because he's bleeding. Blood on the track.
So we do have an official timeout, and it's brought to you by Hit This Derby Gear. Derby Gear has everything you need to get you rolling, from skates to protective gear and unmatched service. Before you hit the track, hit this. Derby owned and operated.
I think the problem on that last jam was that someone did hit that and maybe a little too hard. So we got bleeding. And we're getting back to the action.
That was a quick cleanup.
It was a very quick cleanup. Maybe it didn't hit the track.
JJ Battles wearing the star for Houston.
Just zigzagging back and forth like a shark, trying to plot his path through. But 20 babies trying to grab some more points for the Norsemen. Gets shoved to the inside, but manages to stay in bounds and is declared lead jammer.
He got really low on that start.
He did. And JJ now out of the pack and eligible to score points about, let's say, 40 feet behind 20 babies. And nice offensive assist attempt there by Han.
0-0 jam on that one. It was Han.
That was a super physical pack, though.
It was.
No points, but I say A for effort. And Houston's trying to argue for 1 point.
Sarcasm's going to wear the star for the Norsemen. Sweet Feet's going to stay out there with the star on his head for Houston. 5 seconds called on the floor. The whistle blows. Both jammers stand there for a second. Sweet Feet jumps up on his toe stops and tries to dance around that pack that's up front. He finds a hole. He gets out. Sarcasm is the lead jammer, but not the jammer in the lead.
Well, and it looks like Sweet Feet called on a cutting the track penalty right there as Sarcasm called it off. I think Sarcasm probably thought he was still in play.
And that's going to freeze the Houston jammer in there and be a power start, power jam situation for Evan Rude for the Northmen.
See, I've always had kind of mixed feelings about those penalty box starts as a jammer because on the one hand, you have to go through the whole process of getting lead jammer over again, meaning you have to make a whole nother lap. But it also detains the other jammer a little bit longer. So I think it just depends on where you're at, how you can take advantage of it. But Evan seems to take advantage of his position on the track. Houston didn't touch him. Pack at turn 1, Evan now grabbing lead jammer status, and Colonel Angus having to rush forward and try and break up that Houston wall.
Colonel Angus is going through there to making a hole. Now, whether it's big enough for the jammer to get through or not, that remains to be seen. And it doesn't look like that's happening right now as the Houston defense pulls together. Skid Mark and Big O trying to keep them at bay.
Big O with a nice jammer take down there, not all the way taken out. Looks like we got a grand slam on that pass, Johnny.
Yes, Evan Rude did get a grand slam on that pass. Meanwhile, Sweet Feet out of the box and almost back in the fray before it gets called off.
Multiplayer block penalty called on
Big O.
Big O.
The Big O at the Big O.
Is that O squared?
That's O squared. 121 to 72. 23 and a half minutes left in this game. JJ Battles is going to wear the star for Houston. Keefe's going to wear the star for the Norsemen. The whistle blows. Both jammers take off, try to go the outside. Keefe finds a hole, exploits it. He is out front. He is your lead. JJ Battles finds a hole on the outside. He is out of the pack and eligible to score. Keefe comes on the back of the pack. Think he gets 1 point and calls it off? No, he got 2. 2 points for Keefe on that jam. 123 to 72. Houston's going to have to play better defense if they want to chip away at that lead. Sweet Feet's going to wear the star for Houston. 20 babies wearing the star for the Norsemen.
We've got a pack advantage for Dakota, 4-3, as Big O is in the penalty box currently. Sweet Feet zigging and zagging his way across that track back and forth, but 20 babies finds daylight first out in front. Now, you talk about a different stance going through. 20 Babies has a really unique stance going through that pack. He's rather tall, but he doesn't get super low.
But he's real adept in turning circles on his skate.
He is. He is.
I wouldn't call it a pirouette because he's almost straight up and down, but he is turning circles.
Do you know what a pirouette is? It's just a turn.
Yes. But a turn with style.
True.
JJ Battles wearing the star for Houston. Sarcasm wearing the star for the Norsemen. Johnny Pepper on 3 right-size tricks.
Sarcasm being sent out of bounds, and to the penalty box. I believe that was for a forearm penalty, and that means JJ Battles has now grabbed lead jammer status on a power jam.
Which is exactly what Houston needs if they want to try to get back in this game. JJ Battles trying to work against that wall of white in the front. That is the pack of Norsemen.
JJ manages to sneak his way through and grab a grand slam on that first scoring pass. And he just left the entire pack in his wake on that pass. JJ, beautiful tomahawk move there in turn 3. Grabbing another grand slam for Houston.
Norseman pack getting stretched out a little bit. Sarcasm goes through on the outside, gets knocked to the outside. Re-enters the track, but gets called for the cut. That's going to leave JJ Battles out there for a power jam for Houston.
Again.
He's got 10 points already in this jam. Make 15. That 15.
So, oddly enough, I think he and Sweet Feet are battling it out to see who can get the top point score for this game. And right now they're neck and neck, 15 for both. But Battles is going to break it if he can just get past that last Dakota blocker. That's Johnson anchoring up at the front, and he does. He Gets past that last defender, grabs 5 more points for a total of 20 points on that jam. And suddenly, we've got a game.
Absolutely, 125-92. Houston just needs another couple of 20-point jams to be right back in it.
So what do you think happened on that one that made it so conducive to Houston racking up so many points?
I think we're leaning towards running out of gas.
Okay.
At this point, they've been skating for a while. Both teams only have 10 players.
Ooh,
And if you're playing with just 10 players, you're going to be playing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And as they skate, they're just running out of gas.
True.
And it's kind of hard to pay attention when your low fuel light's on.
This is where we need to plug like a food sponsor. So if you're interested in being a food sponsor that we can throw in every time we want to, make someone extra hangry and give them fuel on the track, contact your local Emerald City representative.
Absolutely. I would recommend that highly. Skaters are being called back to the floor. Sweet Feet's going to wear the star for Houston. This is going to be a power jam. As Sarcasm, the jammer record for the Norsemen, is in the box. Five seconds called on the floor. Skaters are ready. Sweet Feet's not going to let JJ Battles go down without a battle. Sweet Feet's going to try to put up another 20-point jam. But he's going to have to get through the pack to do it. And just like that, he does.
I'm trying to think of an analogy for how he just got through that pack because it was really distinct. Okay, you know those little mazes that you hold in your hand and you have to get the little ball through the sharp corners? That's exactly what it looked like just now whenever he was trying to get through the pack.
Is that a labyrinth?
A labyrinth? Maybe.
I think that's what it is. That jam gets called. Sarcasm out of the penalty box and back into the fray.
5 points on that jam. Oh, 4 points, excuse me.
Houston skating with a sense of urgency at this point. Grease Monkey's going to don the star for Houston. Evan Rude's going to wear the star for the Norsemen.
We are heading into jam number 10. So with 18 minutes left in the game, that's on par with the pace that we saw in the first half. But check this out. We've got lead jammer going to the Norsemen, and that is going to
Evan Rude.
Thank you. I wanted to say Ryan. I was like selectively dyslexic there for a minute. Evan Rude gets shoved out of bounds with a not so rude hit by Big O.
And gets called for a forearm penalty.
So are they considering the jam called? And this is where chaos ensues.
We're fixing to get an illegal procedure penalty unless somebody goes to the bench because we got 10 skaters for Houston on the floor at this moment.
There's just things happening. All the things at
all
the same
things
time.
are happening right now.
All the things. Looks like we did put 5 points on the board on that last jam for
the Northmen. JJ battles the jammer record for Houston right now in this jam that just started.
Evan Rude was the skater's name. I was trying to think if they just got 5 points. Sorry.
JJ Battles makes his way out front. He's getting pointed at. He is the lead. Meanwhile, the Norsemen, with only 3 blockers on the floor, are going to try to play defense. JJ Battles has got a little help out there. But the Northmen are playing defense all the way around turn 2. JJ Battles, no fault of his own, gets through for 4 points. Evan Rude comes out of the box and fixing to join back into this bout. Evan Rude comes on the back of that pack, gets knocked to the outside, and somebody called that jam off.
I believe that was JJ.
JJ with 4 points, 6 points in that jam, 129 to 102. 27 points separating these two teams now with 16:49 left to go in this game. We've got a timeout called, and that's going to remind me the Big O is brought to you in part by the acclaimed Rydell Solaris. the performance you demand, and the comfort you've been missing.
And we want to thank all of our volunteers, of course, that are making this tournament possible. We see several out there cleaning the track, making sure the tape is laid down nicely, and these courts are taking some abuse this weekend.
Yes, they are.
20 babies jamming for Dakota, and that is Sweet Feet jamming for Houston.
Sweet Feet up against that wall of Norsemen in the front, and that wall's not moving anywhere. Sweet Feet trying to get through, does a little jump on the inside, gets called for a track cut. That's going to leave the Norsemen out there on a power jam situation. 20 babies still trying to get through that pack.
Finds some daylight on the inside and gets declared lead jammer. And took about 35 seconds for him to get through that pack, so defense still very much so awake. A beautiful offensive assist there on this power jam by Dakota.
The Norsemen had a plan on that.
They did. They absolutely did.
They knew what they were going to do.
That was textbook.
They made a hole and nobody touched it.
Well, so what they did, they not only made a hole, but they trapped the entire contingent of Houston blockers out to the outside of the track to make some space for their jammer. But now, since Sweet Feet's coming back into the mix, they are leaving 20 babies to fend for himself.
Waya is getting called for a penalty. He's going to go to the penalty box. And Khan for the Norsemen. We've got some hard hitting over here in turn 3.
And Big O has left the track after that hit. Hit so hard it knocked the pivot cover off of his helmet. And we did see a player go to the penalty box. However, I didn't see if it was the player that executed the block. Did you?
I did not. And just like we thank the volunteers, we want to take another time to thank all our medics that are here today. We hate to use them, but we're so glad they're here.
Absolutely. And it looks like we have an official review on the track, and this is called by Houston. Now, Dakota has yet to take an official review during this game. Houston, very much so okay with throwing that out there. About halfway through the second half here. Looks like the Norsemen came out of that last jam, 20 babies, grabbed 13 points. And who is this official review brought to us by?
It's brought to you by the WFTDA Continental Cups. And they will produce the best in region through a competitive bracket. This first year, the Continental Cup Series will be hosted in Kalamazoo, Michigan, Omaha, Nebraska, and Birmingham in the United Kingdom. For more information, go to WFTDA.com.
Kalamazoo is a fun word to say.
It is a fun word to say.
I don't think I've ever been there.
Well,
so.
I'm looking forward to going to visit Kalamazoo. And the whole state of Michigan.
So, one thing we should point out.
It looks like a hand.
It has a mitten, a glove. So if we haven't said it yet, if the other announcers haven't beat it to death either, today is May the 4th. So May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you too, Miss Scarlett O'Harcha.
And we've got all kinds of people celebrating the Star Wars subtle not holiday.
There is a lot of Star Wars stuff here today. Don't forget to use those hashtags #TalkToWFTDA on your social media. That's because we're on TV. We're going to find out what that official review is from, as we've got the head referee over here at the table talking to Miss Scarlett right now. Miss Scarlett, what was happening?
So Houston was requesting an expulsion for an egregious direction of gameplay penalty on the skater. I believe it was Colonel Angus, actually, number 79, who took out Big O. However, the referees have conferred, and there will be no expulsion. The no call stands, and Houston loses their review. So we're going to get back to the action.
Sarcasm wearing the star for the Norsemen. Grease Monkey's going to be wearing the star for Houston. In this, the 12th jam of...
13. We're going into 13.
13 jams in this half. 5 seconds called on the 4.
Now, this is the first time we've seen Grease Monkey jam, is it not?
I think I've seen him jam twice today.
Not in the second half.
Not in the second half.
But he wastes no time jumping up there. Both of these jammers
Both jammers
fiercely
got
fast.
through the pack fast.
Holy cow.
Grease Monkey in the lead, Sarcasm right behind him. Both jammers come up in the pack. This pack's moving fast.
What pack? There's no pack there, Johnny Pepper. They were so spread out. It was just like doing a bit of an opposite. Like you just have to zigzag around them. There
Grease
was no
Monkey
pack.
gets 4 points on that no pack.
No pack.
142 to 106. 13, almost 14 minutes left in this game. Evan Rude's going to wear the star for the Norsemen. That's JJ Battles is going to be jamming for Houston.
And these mics are so sensitive. I feel like everyone that's listening can hear all the things that are going on.
We
inside
don't
the
have to
facility.
say the 5 second
Yeah,
call.
you
'cause
guys heard that,
can hear
right?
it, right?
Very physical start right off the jam line, and JJ Battles shoved to the outside.
Quickly
And
recycles back. He's got one to beat, but it's Khan, and that's an awful big guy to skate around.
meanwhile, your lead jammer is Evan Rude, who, ever so rudely goes and taps JJ, but he gets called for a cutting the track penalty. So this will be a power jam for Evan Rude.
And that's exactly what the Norsemen wanted to do as they try to put this game away with 13 minutes left in this game. Evan Rude out there in a power jam situation. Over there in turn number 3, trying to get through that Houston wall. That is Grease Monkey and Sergeant Psycho.
Nice shoulder check there from Houston by Skidmark, and Grease Monkey with the good follow-up there. The entire bench yelling for him to call it off, and he couldn't do it fast enough. JJ did make it out of the box, so we will have a 2-jammer start heading into jam number 15 with 12 and a half minutes left in the game.
Grease Monkey's going to wear the star for Houston again. Keefe's going to wear the star for the Norsemen. We're going to see if Grease Monkey can keep that streak alive, jumping up front. Both jammers start off. Keefe tries to go to the outside. Nothing there. He comes over to the inside. Him and Grease Monkey get tangled up. Grease Monkey goes around the outside, but he comes up against that wall of white that's in the front of the pack.
Nice recycle there by Impending Doom. And looks like we got some pain on the track.
Grease Monkey is awarded lead jam status after all that work.
When he moves, it's like he's ice skating. He just glides across so smoothly.
Keefe now out of the back and eligible to score, and Grease Monkey sees that and calls it off. But not before he gets 2 points. 152 to 108. 11 minutes left in this game. $20 Babies is going to be wearing the star for the Norsemen. That's JJ Battles wearing the star for Houston.
JJ gets this look on his face when he's about to take off, and it really is like a shark stalking his prey.
The eyes go blank.
Multiplayer block penalty being called on Thudwick, who has been anchoring that defense for Dakota. And looks like JJ managed to get through, and he is your lead jammer for Houston.
Impending Doom getting called for a penalty. She's going to go to the penalty box. JJ Battle gets called for a forearm.
We have a star stash currently as 20 Babies has removed the helmet cover from his helmet, but puts it back on after taking a spill to the infield.
It makes quick work out of getting through that pack.
Oh, and we will go the full 2 minutes. JJ in the box. So opportunity for Dakota to rack up some more points. Sorry, I was taken aback by the bowling strategy that Dakota just utilized.
Just bowl right through the pack.
That's really what it was. So Thudwick has been an anchor of Dakota's defense, and now they are trapping impending doom in the back of that triangle, but literally when he came out of the box, they just sent him straight forward to break up the wall of black like a bowling ball.
I want to talk about Kentz for the Northmen out there anchoring that defense. He's got his back to the pack, and he's making sure that jammer stays in front of him.
Holy cow, this is such a defensive, tight, strong pack. That's the first score we've seen, and we are a minute and 50 seconds. It was probably a minute and 40 seconds when he got through, but almost 2 minutes to get points on the board for this jam. Oh, JJ with an apex jump. Let's see if they're going to give it to him. His feet touched the ground, but he wasn't upright. So no points for JJ on that epic last-second apex jump.
A 5-4 on that last jam in favor of the Norsemen. 157 to 112. 8:40 left in this game. Grease Monkey wearing the star for Houston. Sarcasm's going to be wearing the star for the Norsemen. Both jammers showing some fancy footwork before the whistle blows. Sarcasm tries to go to the inside. Grease Monkey goes to the outside. Does a lateral movement, trying to come back to the inside. Finds a hole, jumps out front. Grease Monkey is the lead jammer for Houston.
You got to give props to Big O with that defensive follow-through, holding back the opposing jammer. But he is now through the pack and eligible to score points. And Star being sent to the penalty box.
Star and Waya was the last line of defense for Houston as they tried to keep Sarcasm at bay.
And some sportsmanship out on the track.
Sarcasm and Sniper showing a little love before they go back to their bench. Evan Rude's going to wear the star for the Norsemen in this next jam. That's Sweet Feet going to be jamming for Houston.
That's a matchup we've seen a few times.
Five seconds called on the floor. Whistle blows. The jammers wait for about a second and a half before they start getting up on their toe stops, but Evan Rude gets knocked to the inside. Sweet Feet gets knocked to the outside.
Oh, I thought he was just recycling after being hit, but he grabs it looked like an illegal procedure penalty, but then it got changed to a low block.
I think that's what the call was, a low block.
Maybe the ref was just doing the hokey pokey in the process.
Sweet Feet's going to be sitting at the bench, and Evan Rude's out there on a power jam.
Putting
5 points in the sky.
While we're talking about silly dance moves, Evan went and grabbed 5 points. What are we doing with our lives, Johnny?
Well, we're calling roller derby on WFTDA.TV. That's what we're doing, Scarlett.
Beautiful spin move there by Evan, who is flipped around backwards and is staring at his bench for some direction.
And they tell him to keep on out there. I think he was looking to the Houston bench for a little direction. They were telling him, call it off, call it off.
Star and impending doom. Last lines of defense for those Houston blockers in the front. They shove Evan out of bounds, forcing him to recycle. They were trying to pull a cut on that, but Evan grabs 5 points on that pass, a total of 15 for that jam.
I think Skidmark got called for a forearm right as that jam was expiring. He's going to go to the penalty box. That's going to leave 2 Houston jammers in the box as Astro Stash sits with him.
That's a hard name to say, Astro Stash.
Grease Monkey's going to wear the star for Houston. Sarcasm's wearing the star for the Norsemen.
We've got a very decisive 4-2 pack advantage for the Norsemen, who don't seem to utilize that advantage.
Until they got to turn 2, and then they just turned it on and let Sarcasm come through.
Oh, Grease Monkey was declared lead jammer, but then he got a penalty.
There are some hard hitting on this track today.
Well, I feel like people are just running through. Like that's what this last jam was. It was a series of people running, and that's why the penalty box is very popular today. 5 points for Sarcasm on that pass. We have less than 5 minutes left. We're in jam number 19.
Sniper and Skidmark trying to regroup there on turn 3.
Nice assist by Thudwig, though, who clears a very nice path for Sarcasm. And it looks like we have a multiplayer block called. Oh. Grease Monkey shoved out of bounds, and that track awareness so key. Sarcasm now being sent to the penalty box, I believe, for a low block penalty. So the tables have turned, and that was an epic spin. I hope someone got a picture of that.
Grease Monkey still trying to get around Johnson and Kent, and that jam gets called off.
So right in the curve between turn 3 and 4, looked like the Big O threw a pretty tough hit on is that Liberal with the bacon socks?
It is Liberal.
So, and when he went down, he did not come up. He is still laying on the ground. Our medics are checking him out. But he has moved from his initial position. So we have official review being called by the Norsemen. This is our first one of the game.
I have to fight the urge to run out there as well.
Yeah. He's now flipped over, and the medic is holding a bag, so I'm wondering if it was a nausea.
Or it knocked the wind out of him.
Right, which that can be just as scary and painful as something that is, long-lasting. So out on the track, we have a medical timeout that has now turned into an official review as well. And the refs have discovered the mic in the center of the track. Hooray! So sounds like...
they will communicate with us and let us know.
I just heard them say that the Norsemen are requesting a forearm penalty on the black jammer. So that's probably what they're trying to...
ascertain.
Yeah, well, they're trying to flip the switch here because, right toward the end of that jam, their jammer ended up in the box. So they're just trying to turn the tables a little bit, and I'm going to find out for sure.
This might be a good time to talk about Rydell Skates. The Big O is brought to you in part by the acclaimed Rydell Solaris. The performance you demand and the comfort you've been missing. For more information, go to rydell.com.
Liberal back on his feet and skating over to his bench. Nope, skating over to the medic area, not the bench.
I heard that no forearm will be assessed on that.
All right, so we have no more official reviews. 4 minutes left in the game. We are heading into jam number 20. 10 points on that last jam for Sarcasm.
Skaters are being called back to the floor. Grease Monkey's going to be wearing the star for Houston.
And Sarcasm is starting in the box for Dakota.
This is a power jam power start for Grease Monkey. Grease Monkey's going to do his best to try to make some quick work. He's got one to beat, but it's Keefe. He does. He's declared lead. Sniper's going to get called for a penalty. Sniper goes to the box. Grease Monkey on his scoring pass now runs into the pack, which is a wall of white and purple over there on turn 1. Grease Monkey gets on his toe stops and tries to push him out of the way.
Now, Big O all by himself manages to throw a solid shoulder check on Sarcasm. He's got an assist there by Impending Doom. Meanwhile, in the front of the pack, we have a forearm penalty being called on Thudwig.
Northman doing an awesome job on bridging right there. That pack was all the way around the turn.
And Grease Monkey taking advantage of the bit of a kerfuffle going on as Sarcasm broke through the pack, I should say. He jumps through for 5 points. Norseman held scoreless.
Grease Monkey's going to wear the star for Houston. That's 20 babies going to be wearing the star for the Norsemen.
Less than 3 minutes left in the game. We are heading into jam number 21, 182 to 119.
And I hope all you viewers at home are enjoying this hard-hitting roller derby action brought to you by the WFTDA on WFTDA.tv. Grease Monkey trying to get through up front. He does. He is your lead jammer for Houston.
Didn't he just jam?
Yes, he did.
He just said he wanted to stay out there.
20 Babies takes off the star, looks for his pivot.
And Keefe heading to the penalty box. So Houston with a pretty dominant pack advantage right now. 4-2, about to be 4-3. And we have our first star pass of the game.
Johnson now, the jammer record for the Norsemen. Poco Kiyomiya Coke.
You don't drink Coke, you only drink Dr. Pepper.
That's right. That's why I am Johnny Pepper. And they're hard to find up here.
Yeah.
Evan Rude's going to wear the star for the Norsemen. That's Grease Monkey wearing the star once again for Houston in what could be the last jam of the game.
It could indeed. 182, 124. We've got a even match pack. No, 4-3. Sorry, 4-3 pack advantage for Houston. And Evan grabs lead jammer status for Dakota.
He got a block out there from Han, who gave him a hole to jump out front and become lead jam. 4 points on that pass.
He was signaling something as he went by turn 2, was signaling something to his teammate Keefe. And Grease Monkey grabs 4 points on that pass. Evan on one skate slides on by on that outside lane and grabs 4 points as well. Largely untouched on that pass.
Super footwork on that 1 foot skating around on the outside that Evan Rude did.
That was impending doom with that jammer push out to the infield. And Big O with the recycle.
Impending doom, and Waya and Skid Mark along with the Big O playing defense for Houston.
Johnson with a savage shoulder check on Grease Monkey, but he manages to stay upright, and thanks to an offensive assist from his teammates, Grease Monkey is able to get through.
Evan Rude goes through the pack, puts 5 more in the sky.
Ducks down, I think, to about knee level on 2 other competitors, and he's a taller guy. Like, that's not an easy thing to do.
Evan Rude picks up 4 points on that last pass through the pack. Gets knocked to the insides, being recycled back by Impending Doom and Grease Monkey.
Evan Bunn waiting for Evan Rude waiting for the clock to expire before calling it off, because I think they've had enough. And as you mentioned, they are only playing with 10 skaters, and that definitely takes its toll over time. But what a way to go out on that last jam, 17-14.
Absolutely. They almost scored 200 points in this game.
Almost. 199-138. Very interesting game we saw.
Absolutely. And in the first half, it was really, really close until those jams where the Norseman was taking off and scoring those 10 and 15-point jams.
And I think both of these teams have got to watch their penalties. They have a very small roster to work with to begin with, and we just saw everybody went to the. I think I can see 3 players on the Houston bench that did not go to the box, and looks like Sweet Feet. I'm wondering if he actually got ejected, because he has removed his skates and his gear, and he's on the outside lane. So we'll have to figure that out.